A very good evening and a warm welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories tonight. And in our headlines tonight, Museveni commissions 15 factories and breaks ground for 9 more in Mbale. Premier Nabanja commissions a 57 billion shillings PPDA Roads Authority tower. Human organ donation and transplant law to guard against organs theft. And Wagner mercenary chief presumed dead in a Russia plane crash. Good evening once again. I'm Loreen Masika Kazimoto. President Yoweri Museveni has launched a ban against importation of second-hand clothes in Uganda. Museveni says the continuous importation of such clothes in Uganda denies market to locally manufactured clothes. This was at Mbale Industrial Park, where he commissioned 15 factories and officiated groundbreaking for 9 more factories.
The person you see arriving here at Sino Mbale Industrial Park is the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He is here to see for himself the progress of what he started way back in 2018. One of his stopovers is at the textile manufacturing plant, one of the 40 factories creating jobs here. Both the Chinese and Ugandans employed here welcome him in style. As he arrives at the venue for the main event, the youthful beneficiaries of employment creation here appreciate him through entertainment. Behind this dance is a serious message of local manufacturing that could see imported products substituted, including second-hand clothes.
The investors who invested in the textiles, because now they have given me strength to chase away second-hand clothes. Because there is nobody who will stand in my way when he sees this picture of these children here who have got jobs from textile factories and then start arguing in favor of second-hand clothes.
He says continuous importation of second-hand clothes denies the market for those locally made here.
I therefore want to thank the investors. Don't be discouraged, we are going to sort it out. We are not going to allow these second-hand clothes to enter our country anymore. Omuzungu wafa. Eyo ewaabwe eyo ebigoye byonna byabadde ayambala abisuula awo kati obaani abijjayo n'abiteeka mu ndibota ne babisindikira Abafirika munange.
To this effect, he wants government departments and agencies to purchase locally made products as opposed to importation.
The Minister of Energy is here. The cables, the meters must be bought from our factories here and the ones in Kampala. Anybody who does not would have to go and look after his goats or chicken at home. agenda arunde embuzize.
He says this will increase more industrialization in the already established industrial parks. Ministers agree with him.
Mr. President, we're talking about manufacturing of percolators. Mr. President, we're talking about manufacturing of jeans. Your Excellency, we're talking about manufacturing of windows. Your Excellency, we're talking about manufacturing of bed sheets.
I want to assure the chairman of the industrial park that we have security. If one line faces a problem, then we will get power from Naluvale.
You may recall when you appointed me as the Minister of Finance, I came to you in Entebbe and I said, why have you appointed me in this portfolio? And what do you expect me to do? I will remind you if you have forgotten, Your Excellency. You said one word, industrialization.
Earlier, the Chinese ambassador to Uganda, Zhang Lizong, reaffirmed the Chinese partnership in development with Uganda without strings attached.
Cooperation between China and Uganda in the development field has no limits. We are good brothers, good partners on a path to modernization.
This is just the beginning. You know, every month we have a new factory set up in Bali Industrial Park. Just the beginning. Now, total, we have more than 40 factories.
Area leaders equally welcome the developments at Mbale Industrial Park.
When he puts a ban on second-hand clothes, he is doing a very good job because he's providing market for the products made in Uganda by the tailors to be consumed by the internal market, that are the Ugandans, and then the external market.
The president commissioned 15 factories and officiated groundbreaking for 9 more factories at this industrial park. Henry Okrut, UBC, Mbale.
The First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has urged ardent supporters of the environment and wildlife conservation to sensitize and educate the population, especially the young generation, on the importance of people living in peace together with all God's creation. The First Lady, who is also the patron of the Ngamba Island Chimpanzee Sanctuary, was hosting Dr. Jane Goddell and members of the Wildlife Conservation Trust to exchange ideas regarding the future of conservation in Uganda. The meeting, held at State House Nakasero, was also attended by Diana Museveni Charemera, an ardent supporter of tourism and wildlife, and who the First Lady has introduced as the one who will be representing her on conservation issues whenever she is unable.
The First Lady, who is also the patron of the Ngamba Island Chimpanzee Sanctuary, was hosting Dr. Jane Goddell and members of the Wildlife Conservation Trust to exchange ideas regarding the future of conservation in Uganda. The meeting, held at State House Nakasero, was also attended by Diana Museveni Charemera, an ardent supporter of tourism and wildlife, and who the First Lady introduced as the one who will be representing her on conservation issues whenever she's unable. She said that in a world which is becoming more dominated by human beings as the population increases, especially in Uganda and in Africa generally, human beings need to understand and appreciate the fact that they are not the only creation on this planet, but that there are, in fact, different types of life found on planet Earth, including plants, animals, microorganisms, and other organisms.
I think we need to understand that 90% of the population of Uganda do not know the significance of everything in the natural environment that they live in. And that is what concerns us.
Mrs. Museveni welcomed Dr. Jane Goodall, a world-renowned primatologist and conservationist, and also the founder of the Jane Goodall Institute, who is in Uganda, to join in the commemoration of the 25th anniversary of Ngamba Island Chimpanzee Sanctuary. She said that Uganda appreciates Dr. Jane Goodall and honors her for the stand she has made in life to always remind people about living together in peace with wildlife on planet Earth. She applauded the work being done by the Chimpanzee Trust, including sensitizing and educating the communities, and called for more of this to be done as a country. The First Lady noted that the globe is undergoing a period of massive extinction of various species of animals and plants, largely due to human activity. She said that people should be told that wildlife is negatively affected when we human beings pollute the land, the air, the soil, and the water.
Our people need to know, and urgently too, that the activities destroy, degrades, or isolates natural habitats to the detriment of wildlife. But in the long run, they even disrupt the quality of life for us as human beings as well.
But also to thank Dr. Jane for the wonderful contribution and commitment that they've given to conservation beyond the Ngamba Island Sanctuary, but even the other conservancies around the country. We appreciate and also thank the team from the ministry, from the management of the trust for a job well done. If you look at the budgets, 1.5 billion, this we should be able to resolve. And I think our commitment is let's go sit UWA and the team and resolve these budgets.
Dr. Jane Goodall said that it is becoming increasingly important to bring together people who care to discuss and share how to try and solve problems that the world environment is going through, such as habitats being lost and polluted, animal species disappearing, terrible loss of biodiversity, and climate change, among others.
If we get together and if we take action, then we can start slowing down climate change, slowing down loss of biodiversity, destruction of habitats, pollution, and so forth.
In his report, the Executive Director, Ngamba Island Chimpanzee Sanctuary and Chimpanzee Trust, Dr. Joshua Rukundo, said they seek for governmental support to address challenges being faced by the sanctuary. These include animal welfare, which requires over Uganda shilling 1.5 billion annually. The renovation and improvement of infrastructure requires Uganda shilling 1 billion, while purchase of a new 40-seat passenger transport vessel to address the current lack of adequate water transportation on Lake Victoria is estimated at Uganda shilling 1.11 billion. Others at the meeting were Lily Ajoravo, the CEO, Uganda Tourism Institute, Dr. James Msinguzi from Uganda Wildlife Education Center, and Board Chair Chimpanzee Trust Fund, Sam Wanda, the Executive Director, Uganda Wildlife Authority, Anna Ramadhan and Diana from the Jane Goodall Institute, USA and Australia, plus other officials from the Chimpanzee Sanctuary and Jane Goodall Institute. Reporting for UBC, Baguma William.
In May this year, the head of state, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, assented to the Human Organ Donation and Transplant Law. Although this law paves way for the enhancement of the quality of life for those in need, there has been fear that it might fuel illicit organ trade. We look at how the law will protect against such actions.
Organ transplantation is a medical procedure in which an organ is removed from one body and placed in the body of a recipient to replace a damaged or missing organ. There are different circumstances that may require one to need an organ transplant, including sickness that cause organ damage.
A liver transplant, for example, which is my specialty, can take you for a donor about 8 to 10 hours. For a recipient, about 13 hours.
There are a number of organs that can be donated, including the kidney, heart, pancreas, lung, cornea, heart valve, large intestine, liver, and bone marrow.
To guard against malpractice, government has put a regulatory framework through a stringent law. The law governing organ transplant in Uganda requires that organs are transferred only from living persons and not the dead.
First thing is this issue of stealing organs. Forget about stealing organs from dead people for transplant. For transplant, you need an organ that is of a good quality for someone to benefit from it. If you take an organ from a dead person, it will not be useful unless that person is in an ICU and has been prepared specifically for that. And there are standard checks we do before. Not anyone can donate, first of all. So you have to be tested to rule out particular diseases, HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and you shouldn't have any cancer. So there's a basic checklist we use for evaluating a donor. So you might come with your brother or sister that is willing to donate, then when we evaluate them, they don't even qualify. So the thing of saying stealing organs is not a simple thing. You need to have checked the donor first of all, make sure they don't have any illness. So are you going to steal organs from a dead body that you're not sure of all that? So let the public be reassured.
You can also donate a portion of your liver because it is the only organ that can regenerate itself.
For the liver regenerates, so we don't remove the whole liver, we take out a percentage of it and it grows back. Like a slice of bread? Yes, and it grows back. When you do a CT scan after 3 months, you will not even tell that someone donated, it grows back.
Currently, Mulago and Lubaga hospitals are ready to offer organ transplant procedures and are only awaiting accreditation by the Organ Transplant Council. Adiana Kuti, UBC.
Thank you, Adiana Kuti, for that report. Now, Buganda Road Chief Magistrate Ronald Kaizi has granted prosecution the last time to complete all the investigations in the murder case of Uttam Bandari and an Indian national who was shot by a police officer, Ivan Wabwire. The order was given to prosecution when the case resumed for mention at Buganda Road Magistrates Court in Kampala.
Buganda Road Magistrates Court before Magistrate Ronald Kaizi is handling the murder case of an Indian nation, Uttam Bandari, who was murdered by police constable Ivan Wabwire at Raja Chambers near Parliament in Kampala. Uttam Bandari, who was also a moneylender, was shot dead in his office by a police officer Ivan Wabwire on 12th May 2023, following some misunderstandings between the two. Although police performed the arrest of its own, Police Constable Ivan Wabwire, however, since then, the inquiries into the matter are still ongoing, for now for months, as per the presiding prosecutor Ivan Chaze. It's against this background that Magistrate Ronald Kaizi has ordered prosecution to complete inquiries. Geoffrey Tuliamsima is representing Ivan Wabwire.
Court put him on pressure and on tension in order to explain why. However, he has requested for one last adjournment. We believe, of course, that our client is still innocent, and in case there is any other thing which he did contrary to the law, he was not in his right state of mind. Now we are sure that he will be free like any other Ugandan in a few months to come.
Ivan Wabwire was remanded to Ruzira Government Prison and court will resume on 21st September 2023 for mention. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Unity College Nabingo has achieved a remarkable feat, graduating over 600 students from the O-level section in military drills. These students not only honed their skills, but were also instilled with a strong sense of patriotism and ethical conduct. Take a look.
Trinity College Nabingo has demonstrated its commitment to holistic education by producing graduates who not only excel in military drills but also embody values that make them responsible citizens. By combining skills development with character building, the institution is preparing graduates to excel not just in their careers but in their roles as responsible members of society.
And this is the message I have for the young generation: to love and cherish work, because God is a worker. He rewards work. So work is honorable. So I encourage the young people out there, this country belongs to them. They have to work, they have to love themselves, and it's them to enjoy longer and contribute towards the development of our country, Uganda.
Trinity College Nabingo's approach goes beyond conventional education, nurturing individuals who prepared not only for challenges but also for making a positive impact on society.
So the reason why we train them, or why these schools train them, is to let them know that the world has many citizens, but the decision is made by you as a person. And it starts from what you do, how you behave, the friends, the social capital syndrome. So
honesty, integrity, all these are lacking in our communities, and they are the very ones we have been emphasizing to the girls, and that is what our training has been focusing on.
Graduates have not only mastered military drills but also been guided to uphold important values such as patriotism, compassion and integrity. They were equipped with the skills that can contribute positively to their communities.
Tomorrow, the nation is all developed, it's all guarded by the citizens themselves. Generally, patriotism is about the love of the nation, the love of self, and the love of the neighbor. This training, we thought all we are looking at it as being paramount, as being good.
Trinity College Nabingo also emphasized the significance of being good citizens who reject drug abuse and immoral behavior.
Not only the parade, but we learned a lot of things like personal responsibility as a person. We learned a lot, and I really thank the school for.
They have taught us defense skills. They have taught us about the different careers. They have given us career guidance.
Trinity College Nabingo's achievement of graduating over 600 students in military drills represents an investment in shaping individuals who embody ideas of patriotism and ethical behavior. Robert Katamba, UBC News.
It's super fast internet. Oh, it's a super camera. It's a super battery.
Phone battery full.
Yeah, it's a super deal. Get the Kabode Super from MTN now at a reduced initial deposit of only 49,000 shillings and pay the balance in Pola for as low as 833 shillings per day. Grab this Super Kabode deal this Christmas and get 2 GB of free MTN data every month for 8 months. Get the Kabode Super now from any MTN shop countrywide. Everywhere you go, MTN. Regulated by UCC.
Uganda's oil and gas projects are providing opportunities for international certification and employment in various disciplines. 12,000 Ugandans have received global oil industry training and international certification in welding, heavy goods vehicle driving, and scaffolding, among others. 6 public and private institutions have received international accreditation and certification from industry bodies such as City and Guilds, ECITB, OPITO, AWS and NEBOSH. 250 government officers from various ministries and agencies have trained in oil and gas related disciplines such as petroleum engineering, geosciences, law and economics. 71,300 Ugandans are currently employed in the sector. The National Oil and Gas Talent Register provides visibility to Ugandans with skills and competencies for possible employment in the oil and gas sector. Registration is free. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, together with International Growth Center, will host the 7th High-Level Economic Growth Forum under the theme, Strengthening Uganda's Competitiveness to Foster Accelerated Economic Growth. The forum will take place on the 24th and 25th of August 2023 at Kampala Serena Hotel. The 7th EGF will focus on global economic development and economic growth in Uganda, domestic revenue mobilization, boosting exports and farm productivity, climate change and growth, as well as technology as a driver of productivity and growth. Key speakers at the forum include Oxford University Professor of Economic Policy Stephen Dakon, Honorable Matia Kasaija, the Minister for Finance, Ramadhan Gobi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will be the chief guest. The 7th Economic Growth Forum will broadcast live on UBC TV and the Finance Ministry communication platforms with the hashtag #7EGFUG.
Dear Airtel customer, we know that there are days when unexpected stays in hospital stand in the way of your family's welfare. That is why Hospital Center is here to give you up to 100,000 shillings every night you spend in hospital. Hospital Center also offers up to 4 million in funeral benefit. Dial *185*7*6# to purchase Hospital Center on Airtel Money for as little as 1,000, 3,000 or 5,000 shillings a month. Your cover for the first 1 month is free. Hospital Center is underwritten by Prudential and powered by Turaco. Prudential and Turaco are regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Airtel Money is regulated by the Bank of Uganda.
Welcome back. The chairperson, Equal Opportunities Commission, Safia Nalule, has asked people who administer laws to do it with respect of the rights of other people. She was officiating at a meeting to take stock of the implementation of the Rights and Justice Activity Program in Kampala. We have more.
Access to justice by especially the vulnerable people, women and children, is not easy since most of them are ignorant of the laws, procedures and their rights.
Support coming in terms of giving information and also trying to help the victims to access justice is something that really is welcome, and would like people have to buy justice. And yet we do believe that this is a right for all citizens of Uganda. The ones who are supposed to help Ugandans access justice also want to sell it because of the corrupt tendencies that our officers also have.
Freedom House, an American organization that promotes democracy with support from the United States Agency for International Development through implementation of the Rights and Justice Activity Program in Uganda for the last 3 years, has given 3,500 children legal aid.
We are able to provide close to 29 sub-grants to different partners. We are able to deal with a number of journalists in the area of providing freedom through, for example, Human Rights Network for Journalists. They have their annual Press Freedom Index, and I believe close to maybe 50 to 100 journalists were able to get legal aid through HRNGen. So
preliminary findings from the learning review of the activity indicate that although they attained an improvement in conducive environment for civic activism, it was not at the same level as political. The report recommends that CSOs utilize and comply with the laws as defense to their operations.
Have to do with the civil society or any other actor of human rights protection. We should follow the law, and the people also administering the law should also respect the rights of the people advocating for the rights of the many.
Bias tests have been so huge. The gap is so high on the side of the civil society to the extent that they are held captive as well. They are not free to operate in an environment that makes them do their work as members who are supposed to hold government accountable and ensure that the population is aware of what is happening.
I agree with some of the provisions of the NGO Act. We may not agree with some of the provisions of the LGBT, the Anti-Homosexuality Act, but as citizens we are obliged to respect and observe the law. We can advocate for changes and repeals.
Among other issues the report recommended is integration of technology in implementation of human rights programs. The Rights and Justice Activity was being implemented since 2020 in northern, central and western sub-regions of Uganda. I'm Nafka Farida and Dan Lugemwa in Kampala.
Teachers in private schools within Teso sub-region might be helping their communities to lead better lives, though with more facilitation they could even render more service. A teacher at Asamuku Senior Secondary School in Amuria District, James Okwi, is among those who find it difficult to provide for his family due to poor facilitation.
James Okwi is a teacher at a community-founded senior secondary school in Amuria District. He's not happy with what his profession provides him in terms of salary.
The amount of money that we are getting from here is very little. Cannot sustain our families. For example, the minimum amount of money that we get from here is 100-something thousand, and of which at some times we will not don't get it.
After joining the school, Okwi encountered a situation where it became impossible for him to be included on the government's payroll.
We have been here for quite a long period of time without being on payroll. The situation here is not as good as expected of a teacher.
His sources of income are students' fees, though at times they delay to pay school fees.
When it comes to making them pay money, you chase them home, some of them don't come back again to school. So the money, the miserable money that we get, the other activities also which take that money, which is not enough to pay all the teachers.
The inconsistent nature of this income has made Okwi to rely on the handouts from his relatives.
It is really hard anyway, but we will also look for avenues elsewhere. From home, we will do some work and so on. That's how we can manage it. And maybe relatives are the ones helping us to some extent. That's why we are managing our family. Otherwise, it is a struggle.
Despite these challenges, Okwi remains hopeful that one day he will be supported by government.
We are only praying to go to the other side in case it is possible, becomes possible for us also to switch on to the other school where and we shall be very happy. I think that's what most teachers here are praying for.
This follows the construction of a government seat secondary school in his neighborhood.
This will allow the Ministry of Education room to do what it does professionally. If a person is good, then he can be here. So for us, we are grateful. Government is investing here close to over 3 billion shillings. Over 3 billion shillings is going to be invested to raise a modern seed secondary school here.
The construction at 60%, and it's expected to officially hand it over soon.
What's remaining is just completing the 2 beams, and then we start roofing. Roofing is expected to take roughly between 2 to 3 months, and then we plaster.
This development serves as an indicator of government's commitment to fulfill the National Resistance Movement Manifesto, which aims to establish a seed secondary school in every sub-county across the country. Joseph Okou, UBC.
State Minister for Veteran Affairs, Huda Oleru Abson, has met with veterans and widows in Kampala Metropolitan. The minister had a dialogue with the veterans and widows concerning their livelihood and their community. We have more details in this report.
Army veterans and widows have decried delayed pension, numerous financial challenges due to heavy taxes, lack of sources of income, since most of them and their children are living on their own and cannot afford the cost of living.
ROV 3080 Lieutenant Pascal Kasibante. Obuzibu bwetusanga nga tubanja pensoni, tugenda ne tugenda mu kooti. Batusaba sente nyingi. Sente ze batusaba olumu nga tetuzirina. Olwo ne tubanga tulemereddwa olumu okusasula. Bwe tuba tusobodde ozisasula, tugenda ne twalayo empapula zaffe ne batugamba tujjuze estate account. Estate account eyo leero yatufuukidde enzibu nnyo. Tumaze ebbanga ddene nga tujjuze ebintu ebyo. Kati batugamba nti ebbaluwa zaffe eza kooti zakola ki zayitako.
Tusaba ministry yaffe yaliwo ey'abaveterani bagikomyewo kubanga we twalinga tuwummula twalinanga we tutuukira ng'era we tubuuliza ebitufaako na biki nga be babitwala mu maaso.
They lamented during a meeting with the State Minister for Veteran Affairs, Huda Oleru Abson, at the NRM Electoral Commission offices. The minister promised that the Ministry of Defence, with support from the government, will address most of the issues raised, especially handling pension and ensuring that veterans get their aid from government.
So when you are sharing your issues, I know what you are saying. Therefore, I take them personally. And all my prayers is to see that these issues must be addressed. They might not be addressed overnight, but we must have a process to address them gradually.
On time, the Minister of State for Veteran Affairs was meeting the veterans and widows of the Kampala Metropolitan that came from different areas, which include Rubaga, Nakawa, Wakiso, Makindye, and Kawempe.
Bus operators and owners under their umbrella organization UBOA have resolved to temporarily suspending their 3-day strike against KCCA's decision to collect an annual 2.4 million park user fee per bus. The strike has affected mostly upcountry transport and business in general, leading to doubling of fares by taxi operators.
Business has resumed in the Kampala bus terminals after a meeting of the bus operators, which called for the temporary suspension of a 3-day strike, protesting KCCA's decision earlier this weekend, demanding payment of a mandatory 2.4 million annual user fee per bus. The chairman of the Uganda Bus Owners Association, Solomon Nsimire, the bus owners are scheduled to meet the KCCA and Ministry of Works officials tomorrow at Workers' House to resolve the standoff.
So this morning we received a letter from the Ministry of Local Government inviting us for a meeting tomorrow with other government officials from the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Works and Ministry of Internal Affairs. So following that letter, we also convened another general meeting to update members on the progress. So at the end of our meeting, we have agreed that we shall temporarily mark the word temporarily. So we're going to open our parks temporarily and load the passengers.
The manager of Namaiba Bus Terminal, Nelson Sekandi, and the manager for Gateway Bus Services, Old Kampala Bus Terminal, Hamidu Sharita, welcomed the move, saying that the decision to resume the operations will help the innocent public who have suffered in the last 3 days.
We as the bus terminal management, we are very happy because of the resolution which has come out of the meeting that the bus owners, they have accepted to start transporting the passengers. We had a challenge from Monday that we received over 1,000 students who are camping here in the bus terminal. Some of these students are coming from the neighboring countries like Sudan, most especially South Sudan, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi and Congo.
N'olwekyo twagumye era tulinze bakama baffe gye banaabanga boogedde ne KCCA tusaba KCCA ng'egenda okuvaayo okubeera ng'ekola ebintu nga bino ebeere nga etuuza enkungaana.
First of all, the taxis have raised the money, too much money. They want too much money, each person up to Bali.
Apart from Namaiba and Old Kampala Gateway and Global Bus Terminals, other terminals include Chisenyi and Tausi, among others. I'm Nafka Farida and Juko Collins.
State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Muriku Kaduchu, is advocating for investment in capacity building as a major tool for economic development of the country. Kaduchu was flagging off a bunch of students who have benefited from the Erasmus scholarships to scale up their education in European countries. We have more details.
So you're all going to European countries? Is it to 2
19
countries?
students have been honored to undertake postgraduate studies in various disciplines for master's and doctorate degrees at selected European universities.
I take this single opportunity and pleasure to flag off and to receive these awardees and to flag you off, commission you to go to those various countries to study and get back to Uganda for God and my country. And I thank you all.
Through this experience, the Erasmus students will gain a unique European and international experience which will enrich them and have an impact on their communities.
EU universities can benefit from the views and experience from one of the most dynamic populations in Africa. And in turn, Ugandan students can tap into the knowledge and the resources of higher education in Europe.
State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Mariko Kaduchu, flagged off these students and emphasized the need for human capacity in the development of a country.
If you want to chase poverty out of Uganda, this is the way to go. If we want together to transform the economy of this country, we need to invest in human capital. If we want socially to empower the country, we need to invest in human capital. And this is the right path that today we are witnessing a team of 19 awardees going to the various destinations to build the capacity.
Kaduchu cautioned the awardees to frontline proper discipline and hard work in order to succeed.
Wherever you go, speak to the people. Get more advice. You have the embassies in the various countries. You need to be more disciplined and humble, ready to learn more. And importantly, when you complete your studies, remember your roots, where you came from. It's okay to get a greener pasture, but it's also cheating for youth capacity to be built and not to bring back home the knowledge we are waiting to see.
The EU, in partnership with Belgium, Germany and the UN, is yet to launch another program worth 112 million euros to promote education for adolescent girls, which will support at least 200 schools in Uganda.
Happy that here in Uganda we are going to launch next week the so-called Youth Sounding Board to foster a stronger dialogue between youth from across the country and the EU.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
The head of the Poverty Alleviation Department in the Office of the President, Joanne Kakwenzide, is concerned about the persistent poverty levels in the country despite government's actions. This was at a workshop in Nansana where officials from State House and various government agencies trained the staff of PAD about the basics on implementation of their work diligently.
The NRM government, since it assumed power, has focused on development through programs aimed at improving livelihoods of Ugandans and lifting them out of poverty. In 2000, President Yoweri Museveni launched the Poverty Alleviation Department to lead the fight against poverty through wealth creation with much emphasis on households.
We are working in 26 22 villages already, old ones, and then we have added on 14 parishes in the north and northeast. Our job and our difference in implementation is that we don't operate at this level. We operate at that level. You could actually say we go and sweep people's homes and see what they eat, and if they are eating badly, we address food.
Since then, the agency, which is under State House and run by the President, has provided citizens with seedlings, livestock, machinery and equipment, among other items for development. In order to ensure better service delivery to citizens, the agency has organized a 3-day training for its staff, field officers and foot soldiers. The team from Central, Northern, Eastern and Western regions were trained by officials from State House, various government agencies, and a few others who urged them to love their country and always be vigilant on sharing information.
Conduct for public officers. Now we're talking about conduct and values that help you to perform your job. The other thing that makes a work ethic is a personal set of values that determines how an employee approaches their work.
We must be careful about the information that we share, especially in this era of WhatsApp, Facebook, and whatnot. We are not supposed to share sensitive information through WhatsApp.
Poverty Alleviation Department Head Joan.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Juko. Yo. Wachikuwa. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model, PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. Okay. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Introducing the Infinix Note 30 series in partnership with Airtel Uganda, a smartphone where style meets functionality. Take charge of the day with special features like the 108MP triple camera and 68 watts first charge, and the best part is you can use this phone to charge other phones. You also will enjoy free 3GB from Airtel every month for 3 months on each new device purchased. Dial *100#, select data and devices to get your free data. The Infinix Note 30 series Spark, a connection in partnership with Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Welcome back. And now onto the business scene. The 2-day 7th Economic Growth Forum has commenced today at the Kampala Serena Hotel. The forum's objective is to provide policy proposals that will inform the national budget priorities and the growth strategy for the next financial year and midterm. We have more details in this report.
Uganda is urged to strengthen its competitiveness in order to accelerate economic growth. For sustainable growth, more focus on fiscal consolidation is encouraged.
This country cannot afford to have a parliament of 555 MPs or 81 ministers or 147 districts. So, given the size of our GDP and the revenue that we earn and the problems that we have in terms of our level of our debt, it is now high time we had a clear, patriotic look at the cost of public administration.
It is something that we can all agree, Ugandans agree, that it is something we need to do. Improving government efficiency, cutting off the agencies that we think are duplicating the others, and putting everything in one place so that we are more efficient, we use our money efficiently.
These are some of the suggestions mooted on the first day of the 2-day Economic Growth Forum. Uganda is among the 5 countries projected to grow fastest in this decade at 7.5%. This is according to the researchers at the Growth Lab at Harvard University. It's argued that the projection is attainable through reduction of tax incentives, boosting exports and farm productivity, value addition, as well as addressing the issues of climate change.
As long as we do not know the requirements of the market, our export strategy is not going to work. We need to understand that markets demand a particular type of product, and that is the product we should tell our farmers to produce. So if you just produce beans anyhow, and then there is no market for them, definitely you won't be able to promote your products abroad.
If we have to learn anything, is that we should try to produce goods and services based on raw materials from here. So if you see what is happening in some of the industrial parks, you'll find that we are still importing spare parts. Or for example, I've seen one there in Mbale where they are importing different spare parts of a phone and then assembling it in Uganda. You can't say that is made in Uganda. You're just basically bringing spare parts.
Domestic revenue mobilization is emphasized as a proactive strategy in fostering Uganda's economic independence. According to analysts, improvement of taxation lies in effective enforcement and quasi-voluntary compliance. Dennis Igoa and Juman Samba for UBC News.
The local government authority of Omoro district has committed to adopting the Samuel Gwamko's movement as a strategy to address the escalating poverty levels within its communities. This initiative includes the establishment of a community financial institution known as the Omoro District Community Bank. The exchange visit was facilitated by the Uganda Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives.
A delegation from Omoro District has had a working visit to the Malgumgos project in Mpigi District to learn how these MG community credit cooperatives have effectively reduced poverty. This exchange visit was organized by the Uganda Federation of Malgumgos Community Credit Cooperatives with financial support from the Korean Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives. As part of the visit, the delegation underwent peer-to-peer training on Malgumgos practices, mindset transformation sessions, and delved into crucial role of community leaders in fostering robust MG cooperatives. This training took place at the National Farmers Leadership Center in Kampiringisa, Mpigi District.
They are here to learn how they can be able to transform the Omoro District community into a more productive community. The Samuel Gwamko movement is a very good example of rural economic transformation as we learn from the Korean experience. So they are here to learn from that experience and to see how this can be replicated back in Omoro. We have learned that Omoro district is one of the poorest districts with a poverty index of 71%.
Uganda Federation of Community Credit Cooperatives commended Omoro District for embracing financial literacy. Impressed by the success of the thriving Malgumgos Community Credit Cooperatives in Mpigi District, particularly Kumbia MG Lubugumu Parish and Bogole Parish MG, the Omoro District delegation resolved to promptly establish the Omoro District Community Bank.
As Omoro District leaders who are for this training, we have resolved that one, to embrace these village movement banks. But as we embrace, we want to lead by example. That means the third of us who have been here for this particular training will be able to champion the village bank approach by accepting to contribute some money to the village bank.
The district chairperson Okello Peter Douglas, along with local authorities from Omoro, collectively committed to initiating an extensive sensitization and anti-poverty campaign. The goal of this campaign is to encourage all stakeholders to adopt to Malgumgos model as a means of eradicating poverty.
DFCU Bank has announced its half-year 2023 financial results under the leadership of its new Managing Director and CEO, Charles Mudiwa. The bank, known for its focus on supporting local businesses, particularly in the agriculture sector, unveiled several key financial highlights in Kampala. We have more.
DFCU's profit after tax surged by 56% compared to the same period in 2022, with a remarkable liquidity growth of 20%. In a statement, Charles Mudiwa highlighted DFCU's commitment to aiding local businesses, especially agriculture, a sector vital to Uganda's economy.
So we are onboarding new customers who are very new to banking, and therefore we're going through a whole trading process to let them learn how to do that. A lot of these customers that I'm talking about are people in the rural areas, the mamas and babas who are out there, whom we're teaching how to do banking. So it's a journey that we're walking through, and we've actually seen an increase in that digital capability.
The bank has reported an 11% growth in its borrower base, extending over 100 billion in credit to women in business who are part of their 4,000 local shareholders.
And what this means is the people who are doing businesses with us, it's not just borrowing, it's not just lending, even those who are keeping their accounts, those have grown by 10%. Charles alluded to the transaction volumes, the transactions on our digital channels growing. That is growing, but amidst a growth in actually the volumes themselves. So the component of the transactions has grown, the digital transactions have grown, but the customers that we have also actually grown in how much, in the number of transactions that they do.
After onboarding slightly over 2,000 beneficiaries in the parish development model, an initiative aimed at broadening financial inclusion across low-income Ugandans, Robert Wanok, the head of personal and business banking, discussed DFCU's active involvement in the PDM.
I think one of the things that you'll see that is not documented well as a country is the number of actual people that have entered into the literacy levels, but also the financial system over this year specifically, just as a result of the parish development model.
Despite these positive results, it is worth noting that Charles Mudiwa, the new MD and CEO, has been in charge for 4 months. The bank's performance in the second half of the year will be closely watched to assess the long-term impact of his leadership on DFCU's growth trajectory. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News in Kampala.
Thank you, Wadulo Mark. The Uganda Professional Drivers Network has partnered with the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda to mobilize women towards participation in the transport sector, especially driving. Stakeholders believe women participation in the sector will minimize the rate of road carnage on the roads owing to their patient nature of executing work.
Considering that women are the most disadvantaged in the transport sector, there is a need for gender mainstreaming actions to empower women and bring them at par with men. This has been agreed upon the transport stakeholders' engagement.
Women joining the IOV and also interviewing drivers who are getting licenses. We need to see that in driving schools, we have women who are supposed to actually mentor fellow women, become drivers or any other thing in the sector. But also another issue is that the transport sector has a problem. Most of our facilities in the parks and along the road, the toilet facilities are so bad in that it doesn't encourage women to even think of participating in the transport sector, because the toilets are in a bad situation that women now who even just use those facilities sometimes end up getting infection.
To enhance women's participation in the transport industry, experts recommend an infrastructure overhaul to include the facilities targeting with female gender.
If you realize the jobs that are being advertised, the training is lacking for women. Most people who have engaged in these are men. And sometimes even multinational companies are coming specifying that we need women in driving.
Not only roads, are there sanitary facilities? Are there toilets along the road? Are there eating places? Are there baby changing facilities on the road? Are there Is there security in the night for the ladies at the stop centers?
National and road sector gender equality policy framework is recommended to pose a chance to the women to tap into sector opportunities.
Are they work challenges? Are they related to policy and advocacy? Are they related to environmental challenges? So that we can see how we can, through these coalitions, through the private sector foundation, can support them to get attracted into these opportunities.
Culturally sanctioned stereotypes limit women's potential to participate in and benefit from the road sector, which warrants attention.
You can't share a lot. You can't share a lot because men have their different social group. You belong to a different social group.
The challenge I've faced while I'm doing this is we are normally underlooked. People don't look at a woman on the road driving. The only thing they think you know is to drive, and yet it goes beyond driving. We are involved in planning for the journey, to cost the journey, to cost on fuel, to know the status of the cars, the mechanical status of.
Mixed levels of gender sensitivity in the transport policy oversight tools and various institutional and regulatory weaknesses compromise the effectiveness of mainstreaming gender equality in the transport industry. Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Granny.
What did you do this weekend?
Well, on Friday, I went on a science trip with my classmates to Windy to see the gorillas. Then we watched the Cup final in London. On Saturday, my friends and I met up to hunt some dragons again. Also, I taught the vacuum cleaner and the TV this new dance everyone's doing. They're really getting into it. And on Sunday, I went to bed watching the world from space. And you? Yeah, seriously, Granny.
With Airtel 5G's lightning-fast speeds and seamless connectivity, you won't believe what's next.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
And now into the world of sports. The Kampala Capital City Authority Executive Director Dorothy Kisaka has flagged off the team for National Ball Championships and the National Primary Schools Music, Dance and Drama Competition. The event was held at the KCCA grounds in Kampala.
KCCA is to participate in games under the disciplines in Bara and Hoima. In Bara, the youth will compete in netball, handball and football, while in the music competitions, 3 school choirs, Uganda Road Primary School, Nachivubo Blue Primary School and Clever's Origin will represent the city in Hoima district. Kampala Capital City Authority Executive Director Dorothy Kisaka, who was in high spirits while addressing the children, asked them to be confident and represent the city with honor. She promised them total support from the authority.
We are aiming at championing the vision of a smart city. And our smart city agenda is not just visuals, but it is in everything that we do. We lead and others follow. We are the leading city, and we should ensure that we lead by example, not by words only.
She said government recognizes the important role education and sports play in the lives of children, and thus they focus on provisions of holistic education.
As you are aware, our government recognizes very much the role of sports, the role of music, the role of all the other things that we do in school, apart from what we learn through writing and reading. And that's why KCCS supports the schools. Our primary schools are 79. And I'm sure if we got more than 3 slots at the festival, we would get at least maybe 15 schools going for these national festivals.
Chisaka explained the importance of music, dance and drama, with one being preventing high dropouts of children from schools.
Certain things, they help to reduce dropout rates, they increase enrollment, they increase attendance rates in school, they improve literacy and completion rates, and all these things subsequently reduce undesirable mannerisms and phenomena like crime and morbidity rates in our communities.
The Director of Education and Social Service, Charles Magnot, said the teams have for the last 1 month been participating actively in these activities and are set to represent Kampala.
But they have also demonstrated excellence in terms of performance, in terms of music, dance and drama.
These KCCA schools that are meant to represent Kampala in service disciplines include, among others, Buganda Royal, Clever's Origin, and Achieve Blue primary schools, under this year's theme of fighting malaria and promoting awareness of birth registration. Justine Nakami in Kampala.
And with that, we come to the end of this news bulletin. Thank you so much for your company. Now, on behalf of the team working tirelessly behind the scenes and myself, we wish you a good night.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Upgrade your lifestyle with the all-new entry-loaded Chillax voice bundles. Now, call all networks in Uganda with Chillax voice bundles. Call all networks, no expiry, no worries. Dial *100 *1# and select call all networks. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
This weekend on UBC.
A man who grew up fascinated with the world built his lifelong vision at the northern park boundaries of Murchison Falls National Park. It is located in one of the most breathtaking parts of Uganda.
This particular place is literally overwhelmed.
Why should somebody come here and enjoy such an amazing experience?
You get everything you need in one place. The service, the ambience, the food.
We normally serve our clients fish. Okay. Fresh Nile perch or tilapia.
This Sunday, join our conversation with the world on chilling at Tilinga Safari Lodge.